Because in India, we have this saying that you cannot trust lawyers, doctors, and police officers. So what in Germany is making it easy for me? Like, how is the system ensuring that I can trust a lawyer?
I found a student, he was studying chemistry, and I said, how much do you pay for your study? It's nothing. How is it? Yeah, the study in Germany is free. So I ran home and said, well, the study in Germany is free.
Can you share some examples, like recent examples, where you have supported somebody in moving to Germany? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of People's Stories. I'm your host, Priyanka Ocha. Thank you so much for joining us. I truly hope you'll enjoy this beautiful story and take away some genuinely brilliant insights with you. Once again, a heartfelt thank you for being here. Stay tuned and let the magic unfold. Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to today's episode of People's Stories. I'm your host Priyanka. Today we are recording the episode in a studio. I'm super excited about it, and I have a lovely person in the studio with me. Her name is Dr. Veronika Denninger, and she has been living in Germany for quite some time now, is a practicing lawyer, specializes in immigration law. We are going to talk a lot about immigration law today, and I'm very excited about the topic. But let's first introduce Veronika. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Priyanka, for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
I'm super excited to have you. Just give a very quick introduction about yourself. Where were you born and raised? And how did you come to Germany?
Well, I was born in a small town in Ukraine called Vinnytsky. This is in the western Ukraine. And I grew up there, and also in the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. And that is peninsula that is close to Japan. And then my family moved back to Ukraine, and I went to school at a university in Kiev in Ukraine.
Okay, so you moved a lot in Ukraine then?
In Ukraine and in Russia, because my parents used to work as engineers, and a job took us a lot abroad. Yeah.
Okay. So how was childhood for you? How were you as a child?
Well, childhood was going to a new school every year. But it was a very happy childhood. We have very good family and friends, and it was very exciting to move around with parents and outside.
And do you have siblings?
I have a brother who was born in Kamchatka.
Okay.
And he lives with us in Germany, of course, right now.
Very nice. And do you guys meet a lot? Do you travel, see your parents, your brother?
Yes, well, my parents live now in Frankfurt am Main. This is a city where we immigrated to from Ukraine in 1996.
Uh-huh.
And my family still lives there, and I've been living in Berlin for more than 12 years, right?
Okay. And how was immigration in 1996?
So immigration to Germany back then was probably different from immigration experience people will make today. Germany back then was not an immigration country. It was said, wir sind kein Einwanderungsland, which means we are not an immigration country. We're not Canada or US. And Germany was only taking humanitarian immigrants. And the society was different than it is today. Germans were more close. They were more homogeneous society than it is today. I'm actually very happy how it developed over 30 years.
Very nice. And what does humanitarian immigrants mean?
It means that we came to Germany with the program of Jewish refugees. But Germany was taking on Jewish people from Soviet Union. This is how we...
Okay, got it.
And also where we lived, in the street where we lived in Frankfurt, there were also many refugees from former Yugoslavia. There were war refugees. The war happened in 93 to 96, I believe. But in 96, there were many refugees from Yugoslavia too.
Okay. And if I may ask, how old were you when you moved to Germany?
I was 18 and a half. I was already studying law because I finished school when I was 16, and I was already at university in Kiev.
Okay. How did you decide to become a lawyer? Because I know being a lawyer is a very serious profession, right? So what pushed you towards being a lawyer?
Yeah, well, I had this epiphany moment that many people have in their life. So I was always a vivid reader, and I read everything my family had. And at university, the library was it was only children's books. It was boring. So I went to bookstores very often. And in one of the days, I saw two books laying next to each other. The one was a commentary to a criminal code of the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. And next to this book was a book about rhetorics.
And how old were you?
I was 14, yeah.
And you were so interested in this topic.
No, I was 14 and I was like, oh, commentary to the criminal code. I want to read it. I read this book and I read the book about rhetorics and I understood two things. First is law is omnipresent. It regulates all areas of our life. And the law is what actually carries this society. And the second book on rhetorics showed me that the words are important. Words matter. Yeah? And there is a Ukrainian saying, the word that flies out of your mouth, you can catch it as a bird. So there was this, when I was 14, I saw this, I thought, I want to become a lawyer. I want to understand these complex structures. And I believe if I do that, I can be valuable to the society.
Okay. So, Veronika, tell me one thing. So, like in India, for example, what profession you follow in your life or what you do in your life basically defines a lot how your social status is going to be, how valued you're going to be in society. I'm assuming it's the same thing in Ukraine as well.
Yes, of course. It was for me, I understood if I will become a lawyer, I will have a certain status in this society. I think it was important for me because in a small town where I come from, very little opportunities that they have. And I did not want to be there and stay there. I wanted to make a step up in also social life.
Yeah, of course. And would you be willing to talk about your parents' contribution into you being a lawyer today?
Yes. None of my family is a lawyer or judge or something. And I remember my grandmother was horrified. She said, oh, you will have to go after criminals and catch criminals. I said, no, you have, this is not the understanding of law that I have. And when my parents knew that I wanted to continue studying law when we came to Germany, and I remember when we were just fresh immigrants here, we lived in a refugee home. And I said, my parents said, what do you want to do? Don't you want to become a nurse or a secretary? And Mom, I can't imagine this. I need to study law. And they said, law in foreign language, can you do that? And also they were worried that it will be very expensive. Because this is the perception that they had, studying in Europe or in America is very expensive. So I went around and with a little knowledge of German, I found a student. He was studying chemistry and I said, how much do you pay for your study? It's nothing. How is it? Yeah, the study in Germany is free. So I ran home and said, well, Bob, the study in Germany is free. And so they said, okay, that's fine. We'll support you. They would have supported me if it was expensive, but I'm not sure if we would be able to actually afford it. Yeah.
Yeah. And is it also expensive to study law in Ukraine, for example?
In the 90s, there was a different problem. The problem was you could get into a good university only if you had connections. And since, I finished school with just, in German terms, is 1.2, as I almost had a silver medal. And my parents did not have connections. So I had to go to very basic university, not in one of the top universities. If it is like in Australia, in America, you see what kind of university you can afford. In Ukraine, it was, where do you have connections?
Okay.
And,
tell me a little bit about the personal Veronika, like the personal life of Veronika. What do you do outside work?
I do actually many things. I begin many things. I don't finish all of them. There are things that stick with me. This is cycling. I do road cycling. I was also a member of a cycling club, but it turned out that I enjoy cycling by myself more than cycling in a group. I like classical music. I go a lot I like symphony orchestras.
Yeah.
I read philosophy. I'm a big fan of Schopenhauer. And I go back to him again and again. And I read for fun, also I read for education.
Yeah. I'm assuming reading comes very naturally to you also.
So I read everywhere.
Yeah.
Kindle dies, I read on the phone.
Yeah. So before I get into your professional journey, I want you to stress a little bit on when you are stressed. And I'm assuming you would be stressed a little bit more than because you're dealing with more critical issues. When you're stressed, what's the way that you try to unwind yourself?
I am the person that recovers in silence. Being by myself, going to the forest, going to swim in a lake. Luckily, around Berlin, there are so many opportunities to do that. This is what I do, complete switch off.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally relate to it. Like it's so nice to just take a long walk probably and like not think about whatever is stressing you out.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So now let's get into your professional life. I know that you've been practicing law for more than 17 years. Let's walk a little bit through your journey. So how did you start? What did you start doing? And how did you get into immigration law?
Yes. So when I began studying in Frankfurt, I had a very little understanding how the law studies is in Germany. I thought, okay, it's 5 years, I get out, I'm a lawyer. And honestly,
5 years is bachelor's degree.
In Germany, when I studied, the law studies still remained first and second state exam. That was the only area that did not go to this Bologna process of doing bachelor and masters. So in Germany, they insisted that legal education stays the same, and it was the last 200 years. So it's first, second state exam. So I had to find out, so I have to study for 5 years, so 9 semesters, 4.5 years, then do the exams, and then there are 2 years of practical education in court, in the prosecutor's office, in the lawyer's office, and all that. But what's it going to take me like 7-8 years? I was too late. Not it was too late, it was my choice, and these 8 years were really hard. So the law studies is not fun in Germany. The rules are strict. There is no opportunity to cut corners. So you really have to go through the grind. And studying in Frankfurt am Main, Frankfurt is a financial center of Germany. I was surrounded by these banking lawyers and investment bankers. And I said, I want to belong to these people. This is so cool what they do. So when I finished, when I got my second state exam and went into practice, I became a banking finance lawyer. It was 2007. So it was right before the financial crisis hit Europe, hit the whole world. And during this first years of practice, I got very disillusioned and disappointed by the banking system, also being banking lawyer. So I thought, this is not what I want to do. But how can I use what I learned so far to a better good than just making bankers or some pension funds more rich at the expense of their small investors? And I went to microfinance banking. There is a wonderful company, ProCredit Holding, in Frankfurt, who back then held 21 banks, Eastern Europe, in Africa, and in Latin America, doing helping people to get out of poverty by giving them microloans and helping them to build up their small shops, companies, and so on. And it was very amazing job. I loved it very much until I saw an advertisement in Berlin for a position. I read this advertisement and I thought they're looking for me. I applied and they took me. So I moved to Berlin to do promotion of rule of law.
And which year was this?
This was 2012.
Okay.
So for the last 12 years, I was supporting members of government, members of politics, and also NGOs in countries of Eastern Europe, South Caucasus, Central Asia and Turkey and Balkans in their efforts to improve their judicial systems.
Okay. So is it like more of a advisor/consultant profile?
Exactly. So I'll give you an example. Just say there is a legal reform in Georgia. A simple example. They call us and say the lawyers are searched when they go to see their client in jail. We know this is not okay. We know that European standard is the lawyer just goes through, help us change the situation. So we go to study the situation, then we help them draft the legal proposal. And then these groups go to with this proposal and work with their government.
Yeah. Okay. So Veronika, paint me a picture of your regular day. How does it look like? Like, I'm assuming it would not matter which area of law you are practicing. The regular day of a lawyer would be the same in all the areas. Is it correct?
Yes. The regular day of every lawyer is very, very chaotic. You don't know what will happen. You can make plans for a day in the evening, but they say if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans. Yeah. So anything can come during the day, and you have to have good nerves and be very not multitasking, but able to refocus, reschedule, and reorganize yourself.
Okay. So is it common that your work seeps into your personal life as well?
Yes, it does. Though, of course, you try to keep certain parts of a day, of a week free, and most of the time I succeeded.
Okay. Getting more and more curious to understand, why would you want to be a lawyer? Like, what is exciting about it?
I like complex things and I like to solve problems. And I read recently a quote that happiness lies in solved problems. And this is true, when you solve the problem, you move forward. And solving problems for clients is very rewarding. There is a quote I've heard, this is from a lawyer in Berlin. I'm going to steal it because it's so good. So he says, when the client comes to him and rolls out the rug of his life, and I, as a lawyer, get to help him to make certain parts, so we make it together, so for him to overcome certain things. This is very rewarding, yeah? So the person comes to you with, in the immigration law, people come when their title is at stake. Is at stake where they're going to live, how they want going to work, what is the future of their family. So it's serious. It's not like you ordered something on eBay for €20 and they're not sending it. It's a lot of responsibility. And being able to bring them to their goal, see their happiness.
Yeah.
This is very rewarding.
Yeah, so you perfectly brought me to immigration law now, because, for example, I myself have been living in Germany for the last 6.5, 7 years. I have never visited.
That is very good. I'm very happy to hear that.
I hope it does not has to happen, but what does an immigration lawyer do? How can you help me? Or anybody, for that matter.
Yeah, you've heard, and many people have heard, that Germany is lacking skilled workers, non-skilled workers. More than 2 million positions are not filled right now in Germany. So Germany is tried really hard to become an immigration country as fast as possible. Yeah. So the employment agency says that we need 400,000 new workers every year. 400,000 people need to come to Germany to maintain our economy, our research, and everything that the Germans have built over decades.
And sorry, Veronika, is this only skilled workers or non-skilled?
It's skilled and non-skilled workers. It's not only for university degree holders, but also people who have experience in certain areas. This opportunity was opened by reforms of last year. Also people who have education that they gained on the job or in the companies. So the opportunities for people right now to come to Germany have never been better. The problem is, in the administration in Germany, also people are missing, yeah? So the administration is overburdened, courts are overburdened, and so on. So when you come, let's say you're lucky to get a really good job offer in Germany, yeah? You need to get a visa to come here. You need to apply for a residency permit. You need to communicate with immigration authorities, with the employment agency. You get contracts that you don't understand. Maybe you get a contract from the insurance. You get contract from a landlord and a company. So there is a lot of overwhelming information. You try to solve it thinking in how you think in your country about law, but Germany is completely different. Germany is very structured. There are many rules for everything, and procedures are also very strict. So many people who come here, they experience troubles, for example, in recognition of their diploma or getting access to the profession, like medical profession. I just saw the statistics recently that out of 1,400 Ukrainian doctors who applied for admission to the doctor's profession, only 130 already received a positive reply. All the others have been waiting for almost 3 years.
Wow.
So a lawyer can help you to overcome this, because if lawyer writes to the authorities, they reply, they start moving. Or if the administration does not give you answer in a certain period of time, you go, you have to do something and not to wait forever, because there are many applications. There are hundreds, thousands of applications that they get every month. To move forward, to fight this bureaucracy and to get what you want, this is what a lawyer can help you with.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming that you would need an immigrations lawyer not only for skilled workers but also for non-skilled workers, right?
Yeah.
Can you share some examples, like some recent examples where you have supported somebody in moving to Germany, both of a skilled worker and of a non-skilled worker?
Okay. Non-skilled worker, I can take an example of a truck driver. Yeah. Uh-huh. Germany is lacking 100,000 truck drivers, and they're in very high demand. And I helped to move a truck driver together with his family. So the first thing is we need to see that he has an appropriate driver's license. He needs an appropriate license for maybe transporting chemical goods and so on. That these all has to be in place. We need to see that the contract that he got from the company is according to the requirements of the Residency Act. You also need certain things to be in a contract for immigration authority to say yes. We keep this person. Give you an example. That a foreign worker has to get a contract and a salary similar to the German worker. Yeah, so you cannot underpay foreign workers. You need to understand that Germany is not hiring people to come and work for bad salaries. It is a requirement. And you need to check with the employment agency. Employment agency can bounce back and say the salary is too low, or and then you have to argue and say, okay, this person has this and this kind of experience. You need to check the market rates and so on. There's a lot of work for a lawyer to put the argument forward. This person gets a permanent residency or a work permit. And this driver has now a residency for 3 years. And if he does things right, it can be prolonged to become a permanent residency. Of skilled workers, the skilled workers, I have now a skilled worker who is in his country. He's in Ukraine, a CEO of a large company. And because of a war, he had to leave with his family, lives in Germany. And he wants to establish his business. It's a lot of work for a lawyer, because if you want to establish a business or you're a freelancer, for example, you need to show a business plan. You need to show the authorities, yes, I want to have my own business, and this is what I plan. And this business plan has to be agreed with Chamber of Industry of Commerce, depending on your field of area of work, maybe with association of your field of work. You need to show, this is my plan, how much money I want to make in the next 3 years, how many people I will hire in the next 3 years. And it has to be perfect. So the immigration office looks at the documents and says, I don't have any questions. Okay. It's a yes. Yeah.
So an immigration lawyer would basically help in building up the case in a way that it gets approved.
Exactly. And what I also do for people, because I understand I'm an immigrant myself, I understand how overwhelming everything is. So I also look at employment contracts. I help them to understand what are their obligations with insurance companies and so on. So I give them like a more comprehensive package and I also work with a very experienced tax consultant, because one of the first questions people say, what about taxes? So
yes. Yes. And also about the fees, because I was going to ask, so for example, there's a general impression that if you go to a lawyer, it's going to be very, very expensive.
Yes, well, it depends. So German lawyers, we have an act on lawyers' fees in Germany. It is regulated by law. And this act says this is kind of a minimum amount the lawyer should take. We cannot take less than this. We can take more. And many, many lawyers in Germany work for this statutory fees, because not every client can pay hourly rates. Yeah. So I would say in the provinces, also in cities, many lawyers work for statutory fees. So for you as a client, you can easily calculate how much my lawyer will cost. There are also calculators online, but you can also ask the lawyer, can you calculate how much it will be for me? There are lawyers who work for hourly rates. There you do not have, of course, control how much it can be. And there are also lawyers who offer full packages. This is what I do. I have initial consultation, then I take a look at how much work it will be and so on. I give a package, and then it does not matter how long I will work, how much I will communicate with authorities. This is what you pay, just to give a sense of security.
Okay. So I'm thinking about a use case, and you tell me if that is applicable. So for example, for somebody within my circle who has already moved to Germany and has been here a few years, when would I need to consult you? So imagine that I already have a residence permit. I don't have a passport yet.
Okay, let's say you might want to bring your parents to Germany or your parents-in-law to Germany. It's also possible for people with certain titles like blue card. You might want to get married from someone from India, or maybe you marry someone Indian who just finished university in New York. So cases can be quite complicated, yeah? Or let's say you want to bring in your family, but you can't find a medical insurance that will actually cover such elderly people. So all of these things of a status and how to move forward, you might consult a lawyer. And also if you have might have a very straightforward case for eligibility for German citizenship. You worked, you had a blue card, you have learned German and so on. But there might be things like, let's say you come and you have a residency for work, then you lose your job. And then there's a question, what is with my title? Can you help me? Can we maybe, if I don't find a new job within 3 months, what can I do? Do I have to leave? Are there any other opportunities to stay in Germany, like opportunity card and so on? So any changes of a status, or you are not sure about something, you would.
Got it. Okay. And you mentioned a very good word right now, opportunity card.
Yeah. That is this is actually really good, because it's actually my favorite topic. I'm so excited about it, because an opportunity card is something absolutely new in Germany. We had previously a job seeker visa. You could come for 6 months and you can look for a job. The opportunity card is so much better and so much wider. So with the opportunity card, you can come to Germany for a duration of 12 months to do certain following things. You can either look for a job, or you can prepare the establishment of your company. You can look for a place to study. You can look for a place to do an education like Ausbildung at some company. You can come to prepare your freelance work. This card, there is no prohibition in which title you change from opportunity card. It's like really, it's an opportunity card. Then it's not only for super skilled workers with a university education. You can also get an opportunity card if you have experience in certain fields, like in IT. Germany finally understood that many IT professionals do not have a formal education, but they do amazing work that is needed in Germany. And the thing is, what is also very interesting, during these 12 months, you can work 20 hours a week. These 20 hours have to be, it has to be part-time in the whole year, an average. Let's say you're looking for a job, you can take project jobs. You can work on a project for 1 or 2 months full-time and then rest, The most important thing, within a year, you work part-time. You can also do probation work for a company and so on. And what is also interesting, if during this year, let's say you found a job, but because of certain requirement, you cannot get a residency for work. This may be you're more than 45 and your salary is low. I mean, I don't want to go into detail, but it is possible to find a job, but it's not yet enough to get you a work permit. Opportunity can be extended for 2 years. So the legislator says, stay, do your job. Maybe in these 2 years, you will overcome and get this requirement sorted out. Your salary will be higher. You will do some additional education. Stay here. So that is amazing. And also opportunity card, let's say, it's my favorite example. So you are a patisserie. I don't know, you make beautiful cakes and so on. And you learned in your own country, let's say you learned for a year, for 1.5 years. And in Germany, the patisserie studies, let's say, 3 years. You can get an opportunity card, come to Germany, do the courses, finish your patisserie education in Germany and open your own business. You can also use this opportunity card. I can talk forever, so please.
Yeah, I know, because I think this is a topic that's very discussed as well, especially in India, for example. And Veronika, you also mentioned right now is the best time to come to Germany. Why?
First of all, what I saw in 30 years is a change on perception of foreigners and also the German mentality. Germans became more open. More people are coming. They get to know you. And my feeling is the society is much more open. Second of all, the legislator welcomes you. The bureaucracy doesn't, but there is an opportunity to fight it. And in my experience, Indians are really doing really well in Germany. They are mastering German bureaucracy pretty well, because Germany is not a country for everybody. It's for people like structure, like rules, and so on. And Indians are doing pretty well here. And there has never been a shorter way to German citizenship right now. And German citizenship is European citizenship, gives you opportunities to go to any country or whatever. I think 3 countries in the world who do not, where you need a visa or you need a residency. So the chances are right now, I believe, the best.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. And also, because as you mentioned, so like studying here is literally free of cost. A lot of courses they don't charge a lot of money.
Yes.
So even if somebody wants to kind of come here and, for example, just take a degree, as you're saying, with the opportunity card, you can also do that. Yes. You can try to find yourself a course.
Yes.
Right. So all those cases could be like, it's basically more pushing more people to come.
Exactly. And the practice in German embassy and consulates all over the world is there are fast tracks for opportunity card. There are fast tracks. I've heard about a case, the opportunity card was given in India within 24 hours.
Right?
Yes. And I also have a case from Serbia. Opportunity card was given within 1 month. It is really good. Yeah. I give you an example. If you want to have a business in Germany and you go through the businessman route from your foreign country, it could take you from 4 months to 8 months. opportunity card is given very quickly and you can come. And also, when you were talking about the cost of education, that this is free, I often hear in the conversations and the discussions, oh, Germany is such a high tax country. Yes, it is, but you need to see what you get for this. You get functional state. You get functional police. You have a good healthcare. You have free education, very good education for school kids, for university. Universities are free. My favorite topic, the rule of law in Germany. We are in the area of civil justice, 4th country in criminal justice, 6th country from 142 countries that was studied in the rule of law index. On the corruption, in the corruption index of Transparency International, Germany ranks 9 out of 180 countries, which is you need to understand. Like my home country, Ukraine, ranks 39, and it is the India ranks 39. My home country ranks 104. So I don't say it to point fingers. I just want for listener to have a feeling from where you come, where you get to expect in Germany.
Yeah, because I mean, when you were talking about, for example, going to a lawyer, there's also this stigma around, because, like lawyers would typically know much more about that particular topic than I, as a common man, would know, right? So the possibility to also outweigh me and put me in a bad situation, that is also very possible. For example, for a lawyer, because in India we have this saying that you cannot trust. Typically, not always. I have lawyer friends, but you cannot trust lawyers, doctors, and police officers. So, what in Germany is making it easy for me? How is the system ensuring that I can trust a lawyer and their advice?
Yes. So first of all, what you need to understand, and also your listeners need to understand, in Germany we have almost a full practical monopoly of lawyers on the legal market. So if you are looking for legal advice, you go to a lawyer in Germany. You don't go to jurists, you don't go to law students and so on. You don't go to people who have legal education, only lawyers. Why?
And also people on Instagram, for example.
People on Instagram. I mean, before I go to the doctor, I also Google something about it. And this is horrible. We hate this. But yes, and also not on Instagram and not on some websites that kind of look legitimate and they do some text and you think, okay, they know what they're talking about. No, they don't. Because first of all, you need a formal education. You need to understand how to interpret law, how to read decisions of court decisions that might be applicable to your case and so on. Every case will be different. You will have different documents. You will have a different life situation and so on. Then how the system ensures you can trust a lawyer in Germany. We are liable for our legal advice. Actually, all lawyers in Germany have it. We have professional indemnity insurance. If I give you a wrong advice and you suffer damages, my insurance will cover your damages. And this is actually a very important point. And that's why a good lawyer in Germany will never take a case in a field of law that he or she does not fully understand, because they will be afraid of their liability. They will say, no, I will refer you to a colleague who is better for your situation. They will not just grab everything to have any client. Then the regional bars that overlook our compliance with our professional laws. In Germany, we have this is a German specialty. Certain breaches of professional law are not only breaches of professional, they're also crimes. There are 3 paragraphs in the criminal code that are especially for lawyers. Like if I disclose the secrecy, if I breach their attorney-client secrecy, this is a crime in Germany. So the framework for us is very, very strict. And as I've mentioned before, we have a monopoly on the market. If I lose my license, I can reapply 7 years. So these 7 years, I can go and clean streets. This is not very interesting after you have gone through a lot of education and so on. So the system keeps you together. Then if you are not happy with your lawyer, you can complain to the Bar Association, and it really works. They have committees, and we also have lawyers' courts with a special court system that only deals with lawyers' issues. So you can be sure that lawyers are not working in the air. In Germany, it's a highly regulated field, and we take our professions very serious.
Okay. So you are based on this conversation, I feel like, okay, I don't just go to a lawyer and be like, okay, they're giving you good advice.
So happy you're saying that.
And what happens if you find somebody is, for example, taking a bribe?
Okay, if I find that someone is taking a bribe, somebody in the justice system, I would go to a police or prosecutor's office, and I would make a report about this. And if there will be an investigation, and the person will not only have to, under certain circumstances, do jail time, but it will also, which is super painful, will lose completely his or her pension. And that's why the German civil servants are very careful about that. But let's say you're a judge or a prosecutor, you have a wonderful career, you have a good standing in the society, the state takes care of you, and you will have a good pension. Going after jail time completely empty, this is painful. And I have a high trust in the police. There are countries where people are afraid of the police. In Germany, when I'm afraid, I go to the police. I also have high trust into prosecutors, because a German prosecutor, it's not in his interest to completely blame and run down your client. It is his interest, and it is obligation under the law to discover the truth. That the German prosecutor has to follow every lead he has. Not only one lead to my client. Okay, I have somebody. I'm gonna run him down. No, if there are leads, they say it was not my client. The prosecutor goes after this lead too, to discover not only detrimental but also a positive elements for my client. And if you speak to German criminal defense lawyers, they say, I have a real opportunity to influence the proceeding and outcome for my client. It's not the case in many countries. Many countries, lawyers say, like in Russia, I can't do anything. Already before the proceeding took place, it is clear what my client will get.
Is this what excites you about being a lawyer all the time?
Yes. When I speak to my colleagues in other countries and I see what difficulties they have, I think what I have in Germany is like, in German there is a saying, complaining on a higher level. Yeah, of course it's not perfect. And of course you have to fight with authorities, and police makes mistakes and prosecuting judges make mistakes. But I see the rule of law in action. I see that at the end you can come to a positive outcome.
Yeah. And so tell me two things about, for example, becoming a lawyer in Germany, right? So one is salary, like how much money can you typically earn? And you can talk about a person who will start as a lawyer. And the second thing is language.
Yeah.
How important is it like only possible in German language? I'm assuming yes.
Yes, it is possible in German language. The German legal language is very specific. I started studying in Germany after I learned language intensively for 2 years. In my first semester, I did not understand anything. It took me 2 hours to read a page. So it's a very old, ancient, sophisticated legal language that many foreigners actually complain about. They say, I get a letter from immigration office, I can't understand, even knowing German. Even Germans don't understand the letters that they get from authorities. So, and yes, so when you have gone through this way, there are foreigners studying law in Germany. Even in my times, I began studying in 1999 and I finished 2003. the university, there were many foreigners, Turkish, there were people from Africa studying law in Germany. So it is realistic, even more today. When you finish, also it depends on where you work. Is it a major city? Is it a province? Who are your clients? What field of law you're working in? Of course, not every lawyer is successful in Germany, like in every country. But you can expect, let's say, if you're in a province and you're in a very small law firm, you can begin with 40,000. If you're in a major city, in a big law firm, in the first year, you can get 120 or 100,000.
Wow.
So this is possible. If you speak English, if your grades are well, maybe you have a doctorate degree and so on. If you go to a bank, it will be 60 to 70,000. Also to a large corporation, it will be in the first year, this will be your salary. It is possible to work yourself up to earning millions. Let's say you're in the banking and finance or mergers and acquisitions. Today I also see lawyers doing, today if you study law, the opportunities are wider. You can do legal tech, you can become a legal engineer, or you can do so many very interesting things, not a typical lawyer's work.
Very, very interesting. Very cool. I mean, I think the only thing that kind of might be a little complicated in this whole thing is, I think, the language. Like once you master the language, then it should be, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Right?
You have 5 years of university to grind down the language.
Yeah.
So,
but then your text and course book and everything else is also in German language.
Yes, it is in German language.
Yeah. So I think, it's basically, again, as you're saying, intensive learning, right? So,
exactly.
But then the outcomes are also like really, really good.
Yeah.
Both in terms of, not only in terms of financial outcome, but also what you are really doing, like the contribution that you have for the society.
Yes, but it's also the study. I can compare it to the law study in Ukraine. I studied for 2 years. And 2 years long, we just memorized law. We just memorized legal text. In Germany, you come to the first week, they give you a little case. A hit B because B said something, solve the case, and they become more and more and more complex.
Yeah.
Extremely interesting. The German students will complain, oh, this is so boring. So how is this boring? And I also heard from people who studied in Italy, first year, you just memorize legal text. In Germany, you don't have to. In the exams, you have legal text.
Yeah.
Does not make you a good lawyer to memorize the text. It makes you a good lawyer to find where you need to find and to understand the case and apply the law.
Yeah.
So the studies is super interesting.
Yeah. No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is based on what I've heard from my other friends and podcasts. This is not the case only with law. It's like with every field that the education system in itself is more practical.
Yes.
So they try to make sure that you are not just grasping stuff, you're actually understanding and like implementing it, putting it into actions. I think that's really, really good.
Yeah.
So Veronika, now I want to again come back to you a little bit more, and I want to ask, do you think you are successful?
Yes, I think I am successful.
And how are you judging it, or how are you defining it?
I don't know. I have this feeling inside of me that I have reached what I wanted to reach. And this gives me a very, very nice feeling inside. There is not a single goal that is not achieved, not a single wish that is not fulfilled. I wanted to study in English abroad. I did. I wanted to have a doctorate. I did. I wanted to build up my practice. I did that. So there are of course, there are new goals every day. And this is wonderful, but I have a very, really good feeling of satisfaction.
So the 10-year-old Veronika, when she sees you, she'll be proud.
Yeah, the 14 years old when she first bought this book.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
And how did you? So because you said something very interesting. You said, I achieved whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
The problem is knowing what you want.
Yes.
How did you have you figured a way to really understand? Because whichever stage of life you are in, your wants always keep changing, right? So that now you want something more. And so really be grounded in the present and be able to see and like really appreciate what you have now, that's difficult, right?
Yes, it is difficult. It requires a lot of knowledge of yourself. That's why, just coming back to a philosophy, why I like philosophers, because they help you to understand yourself when you, I don't know, this is what Schopenhauer does to me. And knowing what you want is difficult. I had this breaking moment like 10 years ago when I realized that many things that I do are actually because the society said that I have to do that. So I had my there is a Russian psychologist who is not alive anymore, and he said that the personality is born 3 times. First time when we are 3, 4, when we start realizing that we are our own people, then you're in the puberty, and then when you're lucky, the 3rd time. So this third birth was when I was 36, where I completely not completely rethought many things. Yet it is very difficult to understand: is it what I want, or I was told for my whole life this is what I need to want? And I think this is a quest for life. It never changes.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you really come to realize what it is that you want. And last thing that I want to ask from my listeners' point of view is, if somebody wants to reach out to you for immigration law consulting, for example, or just to probably ask questions, get in touch, what's the best way?
The best way is to come and see my website, come to see my social media. If you will be so kind to link it on your podcast, that would be amazing.
Of course.
And I will be very glad to help some of your listeners to realize their dream in Germany.
Yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed. And really, it was such a wonderful conversation, Veronika. Thank you so much for your time.
Priyanka, it was a great pleasure to talk to you.
And all the best to you for your journey.
Thank you. All the best to you too.